So last February, right before the COVID hit, I took possession of a new Spot Ryve 115. Fortunately, mountain biking is a built-in socially distanced activity, so I've been pounding on this thing for nearly a full season. How's it doing? Here's my report. Now, before I go any further, I'll repeat my standard disclaimer that I paid for my Ryve 115 out of my own pocket, so nothing on this video is sponsored. So I estimate I've put between 2,000 and 3,000 miles on my Ryve 115, most of it fast and flowy single track that required a fair bit of climbing. My overall conclusion, the Ryve still climbs better than any bike I've owned. Partly because of its unique and patented living link carbon leaf suspension system, but also because the geometry and specs just match my body and riding style, at least on cross-country / trail riding. The 29-inch wheels are a boost over most of the 30 or so mountain bikes I've owned, most of which were 26 inchers. But I've ridden Ibises, Pivots, Santa Cruzes, and numerous other 29ers too, and I'd still give the Ryve the top mark for climbing. It handles the steeps, it easily pops over rock and root ledges, it wheels nicely around nasty switchbacks. Overall, it conserves your energy too, so you wind up cleaning chunky or steep sections laid into an hours-long climb where you might have walked or really suffered before. Now, on descents, of course, a bike like this does have its limitations. Because it's light and fast, it's easy to get in over your head on the gnar and rock when the going gets pretty steep. Here in the PNW, there are flow trails that get blown out with brake bumps and erosion, and I found myself dialing back on the speed on these sections on my Ryve. I've also found myself on trails with 3 to 4 foot drops, and although the Ryve can handle them, I feel far less secure due to the short travel and quick handling of this speed demon. Bottom line, the Ryve can accommodate more jank than you give it credit for, but you want to take it a bit slower and maybe a little more careful. When you've got the smooths to cruise, though, hey, this is a bike to have. I love its pure speed on downhill single track. It handles doubles and booters, no problem. Again, on single track, not on flow or jump trails. It accelerates faster than any other 29er I've ridden, and it's agile on berms and switchbacks. Again, I'd rank it in this category above, like the Ibis Ripley, the Santa Cruz Tallboy, and equivalent bikes from Pivot, Specialized, and Trek, or whatever. As I've discussed in other videos, the trend now is to make XC Trail 29ers just shorter travel versions of the monster trucks. You know, those long travel 29ers that are made just to blast down straight lines over any chunk and drops that might come up. That style has its place, but you end up sacrificing on the climbs and the smooth, flowy, single track descents. So yeah, no surprise I'm sticking with my Ryve 15, which is unusual for me to say since I usually end up selling a bike within a year or two and replacing it with a later and greater model. So far, nothing has come up, though, that makes me want to turn my back on the Ryve. All that said, a couple caveats. One has to do with the chainstay protectors. They're nicely positioned and molded to do the job, but within a few weeks, they started coming off of the frame. I contacted Spot customer service about regluing them, but they replied that instead of regluing, they would just send me some replacement protectors. The replacements never came, so I used some Gorilla Glue, and so far it's worked fine, although you need to be aware it expands on hardening. You know, the excess can be peeled away, but watch for chain clearance issues. Otherwise, the only advisory I've had, as with any suspension bike, keeping an eye on the pivot bolts. I've had a couple work loose, and you don't want to lose those puppies out on the trail. After every few rides, I do a spot check, so to speak, to make sure they're still tight. That's it. Hope this helps, and I'll see you riding a new spot, any spot, mountain bike, out on the trail.